tracks today.
Yeah. I need them bands, run it up fast, stuffing them shits in the safe. Got me a spot out the way, nigga just tryna be safe. Leaving the house with the glizzy, nigga.
Let's get to sports talk.
The Rockets, who come into every season with the highest of high hopes. Why should this year be any different? After all, they've got Russell Westbrook and pretty much everyone else back, not named Chris Paul from last season. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta spoke to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports about his expectations going into this coming year. Here's a money quote. I think we put ourselves in the position that if we don't win it in the next 3 or 4 years, he said, we probably aren't going to win one in the next 10 years. He said, this is the time. I just re-signed Eric Gordon, who is 30. I've got Russell and James and Eric and Clint Capella for the next 4 years. PJ Tucker is 34. Our 2 stars are 30. So this is their window. Let's seize the opportunity. Do you buy it?
I love it when smart people say smart things. This is their window, and they're in a win-now mode. This is not we're worried about luxury.
If James Harden switch up his style of play, I'm telling you, it can help Houston win. He hold the basketball too long and have people standing around watching him. Instead of moving the basketball around a lot, it would help your team get open shots. You know, not make it tough on everybody to shoot over people. Like, if he just changed his style and start holding the basketball till the shot clock go down and start rotating the basketball a lot more, Houston could go for it. With his style of play, isolation is not going to win the game. It's a team sport. If he rotated, I'm telling you, he can win. Like, when it's his time, put the basketball in his hands. But when he just hold the basketball from the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter like that, like just had the basketball for so long in his hand, let the shot clock go down, it's not going to get you a championship, man. That style of play had to be switched up a little bit.
Tax. We're not worried about the repeater tax. I'll go back to Cleveland when they had the number 1 pick and they had Andrew Wiggins and then LeBron James came in. And you're just like, well, hey, Andrew, we really appreciate it, but we need to win now. And that's what Kevin Love was for them. Mm-hmm. He gave them that opportunity. And look, they went to 4 straight finals and won a championship. So I think the Houston Rockets owner, if he's looking at basketball in a broad perspective, he's like, this is our window. If not, we're probably going to have to wait another 10 years.
And sometimes I don't like these declarations. When Rob Pelinka said it with the Lakers, I felt like it was bringing a little bit undue pressure, but also he is in a position as a front office member. The owner is really dictating what the expectations are for the group because he's the person paying the checks and employing people in the front office. So I really like it. I think it sets the tone for everything. It's just being realistic. I mean, if this is how he feels, why hide it? Why let everyone know this is where we want to be? And, you know, last year, the Rockets were kind of begging for that rematch against the Warriors, and it kind of blew up in their face, obviously, the way the playoffs played out, though. But I like it. Make your intentions be known and go after it.
I mean, I agree it's their window. Anyone looking at Russell Westbrook's contract knows and James Harden's contract, frankly, too, knows that this is their window right now. You mentioned luxury tax. He hasn't been so excited to pay luxury tax the past couple years. There's been some moves, some cut corners that he has said haven't been for tax reasons, but have just mysteriously gotten them right under the tax, Richard. And I do wonder what they're doing with their coach, who's coming into the season. I mean, you've been...
D'Antonio's style of play don't get so much done. It gets you to the playoffs, but can it get you to the finals? And no. Y'all need to go ahead and look for a head coach to get that job done. Because D'Antonio's style of play, it work and get you, in the playoffs every year. But his style of play don't get you to the finals. Like, where's the defense? Like, going up and down the court is good for the players you have. But his style of play don't get the job done to get you to the finals. Don't give him that extension just yet. See, can he get you into a championship this year? If he don't, go ahead and find your head coach to go get you there. That's why they didn't stand him yet. They want to see, can he do that this year? Like, he's a good coach, but his style of play need to bring you a championship, can it? No, it hasn't so far. And you might have to go find you a head man to go get that job done.
this position on teams with coaches who don't quite know where they stand with management. What is it like when the coach wants the extension, hasn't gotten it, everyone's kind of like...
Well, and look, this is and no different than when Rob Pelinka or an owner says it. It's like, okay, well, if that's what it's going to be, look at all the teams that have won championships in the last 20 years, right? Last 15 years. You're going to have to spend some money. Come that All-Star break, come that trade deadline, if there's a free agent guy that you feel like, and it might send you a few million over, you're going to trade your picks, you're going to do whatever you have to do to bring in, these types of players because this is your window. And it's the same thing happening in Cleveland. It's the same thing that's happened in Golden State. You're going to have to make it. And the one thing that I really like this statement is because the parity in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. They have 2 of the top 10 superstars in this league, maybe 2 of the top 7. So you have that and you have quality players around. That means, yes, this is not no longer the Golden State Warrior dominance. It's not going to be them. So now if you can't get it done with them taking a step back, this is your...
Yes. The Warriors, they lost one of the greatest small forwards to Brooklyn. So it's a big hole over there. Over there, they still gonna be a good team. But the window is open now. With that dynasty not there as much as it was for the past 4-5 years, now here go your window of opportunity to go for it. It is up to your players on that team to get you there.
Window.
Yeah.
Trade deadline 16, Cavs had Channing Frye, who added some salary, and he was a role player, but he made up for it with a big performance against Atlanta in the playoffs. Last year, Marcus Gasol added trade deadline for Toronto. You're adding more money to the books, but you are really backing up your statement. And I think you're right. Tillman Fertitta will have to back it up by his actions when it comes to opportunities they're going to pursue next year.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be really interesting to watch. I don't worry about James Harden and Russell Westbrook, people saying to them, oh, you think this is going to work? The numbers say it might not work. Prove it. They'll be happy to at least try to go out there and prove it. They're not scared of that sentence.
Man, it will work because they already played with each other in OKC, and they both gonna complement each other and succeed. They ain't gonna force it to make it work. It's gonna work when you already got that chemistry with that player that you already played with recently. Well, not recently, a couple years ago. And y'all chemistry is still there, it's gonna work.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN